All right, it is August 5th and we have successfully moved all 27 hogs to the new paddock. So just to show kind of the fence line, that is an electric fence on a pulse. It's much more of a psychological barrier because they could get through it if they wanted to. But they learned at an early age that was not okay. And so they're pretty good with their boundaries now. And they definitely don't go too far from the feed and water, so that helps. But they are about 50-50 into the new territory and at the feeder. It's hard for me to walk through because most of the stuff is like knee-high or taller, especially on the outside of it. So I'm not going to get in the thick of that like they are, but they're having a good time. So that's our August update. These are some of the smaller guys. Let's see if I can find the big ones. They're pretty friendly to me, so I bet they come over. Here, pigs. Come on. There we go. Come on. So my goal is to raise a healthy, happy animal. I believe you are what you eat. And while they seem friendly and everything, this allows me to keep going. I couldn't feed 27 pig mouths, especially when they were like 300, 400 pounds. So anyways, they're gonna be here for probably 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. It's about the same size section as they were last time, but there's a lot more stuff to eat on this section, so we'll see. So probably September 1st is what I'm targeting, but we'll go from there. It's mid-70s today. They sure seem to like it. They still prefer the shade to the sunlight, which I completely understand. Pigs don't have sweat glands, so when you see pasture-raised pigs, usually there's some sort of igloo-looking hut or something out there providing shade. It's not as natural. If you find a wild pig, it's going to likely be in the woods. And as you can see, there's one laying down right there. But yeah, they like this. They like digging through things. So this is the new section. Pardon me for walking. I'm trying to avoid briars. Here's kind of the open field area. We got the feeder. I'm going to show you what they did to the last section. Now, this is a little rougher than I like it, but we've had torrential downpours all of July. And when you're an animal that likes to play in the mud and there's torrential downpours, well, this is what happens. Some cool things, there were some stumps and stuff through there that they have really torn the bark off and ripped to shreds in search of bugs and fungus and mushrooms and whatever else. So that'll help with decomposition. My goal, and this will take a little longer than I like, but this section should regenerate. Nothing else other than wildlife that comes through will be on this section until next year. So these grass seeds and tree saplings and whatever else now have a chance to bounce back. And not only will they bounce back, the pigs have stirred this up, made some pretty good tillage area. Some people would go back through this and throw in radishes or alfalfa or whatever else for next time. I'm not. I'm gonna leave it and see what bounces back. So this was July. Kind of looks like a moonscape scattered with some greenery, but this has all been fertilized for a month. So once stuff takes root, it should go nuts. Now let me show you June. So this is probably the worst of June right here where their feeder was, because they hit this part. But if you see that muddy mess, over here was where that muddy mess was in June. So it took a month, and you can hardly even tell there's a line. In fact, it's doing better on the left-hand side than the right-hand side where I drive. And you can see there's still some trails out there and some areas where It's still recovering, but you know, for a month, not bad. This section, they did dig up quite a bit, but there's a lot of water overflow here too. So I think it's just going to take a little longer for this part to recover. But overall, looking pretty good. The premise of this, and you see it when they do controlled burnings, that started all the way back with Indians. They do controlled burnings up in an area, let things come back through thicker and better than before. And so very similar premise. The pigs or cows, when it's in the pasture, work everything down to the ground, stir things up, put a lot of pressure on it, but it allows itself to bounce back. Pretty cool. You just got to keep moving them. I'm not going to bore anybody, but this is how I raise my forest raised pigs. For those interested in it, highly recommend doing it this way. That's all I got. Have a happy Saturday.